Good morning, everybody. Hello. You'll have to excuse my voice. My sinuses have been going absolutely bonkers. So I'm sounding a little raspy today. And I've got the coughs and the sniffles and all that kind of fun stuff. Um but hello, good morning. I hope all of you are doing well. If you're new here, my name is Dustin, and this channel, Modern Metaphysical, is about all things occult and esoteric with a very heavy lean on the tarot. If you are a new viewer, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back to hang out. I thought we could all hang out today and do another round of upcoming and new releases in occult books and tarot, where I share with you some of the things that are coming out that have caught my eye and that I am personally interested in. This is, again, in no way a comprehensive list of all of the things that are coming out. These are just things that I've seen that I'm interested in and that I thought all of you might enjoy as well. Dell did win. We've got the owl cup and a hat today. You guys are so funny. So good morning, everybody in chat. Also, I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my members of Scala Metaphysicae. So anybody you see in chat with a little sacred geometry symbol next to their name are a part of the channel membership program. A big thank you to all of you guys. I really appreciate all of you guys. So yeah, good morning. Let's see. We got lots of people in chat today. We've got Dell and Laura and Gigi and Lexi and let's see, Mountain Shadow, hello, and Simon, good morning, and Elwin, hello, and Early Ritual rolling in the house late, good morning. I hope everybody's doing well today. Hello to all of you guys that are coming in and all of you guys that are just hanging out. Also, yes, so today we are going to be starting the next session of Study Hall, in which we are going to be doing a Thoth study. So we're going to be studying the Thoth Tarot deck with the enigmatic, some might say, Lon Milo Duquette, who is a very clever author. So we're going to be reading as a group, understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. If you're interested in participating in that, it is a perk that is available to all membership tiers. And we do hold the sort of like group meetings in Discord. So you do need to be in Discord to participate in this. If you are a member, in the community tab on my YouTube channel, there are instructions on how to join Discord. However, if you're having trouble or you just can't quite figure it out or whatnot, just shoot me a message. You can send me one on Facebook, on Instagram, or you can shoot me an email and I'll do my best to help you get it sorted out. But we will be holding that this afternoon at 3 p.m. Sorry, at 4 p.m. Eastern time, which is 1 p.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. my time. Time zones are hard. So 4 p.m. This afternoon, we're gonna meet and we're gonna do our little meet and greet, talk about the Thoth, kind of what everybody's expectations are. I have a whole stack of Thoth decks next to me to share with you guys, all kinds of different ones. Tabula Mundi is here. I have different versions of different Thoth decks and all kinds of fun stuff. So that will be a fun little get together. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check out Scala Metaphysica down below. Let's see what else. Good morning. Hello, Faye. Also, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything that you would like me to see or read, just do at Modern Metaphysica in the chat, and it'll highlight it super bright for me on my screen, which helps me and my ADD brain to focus on what you guys are wanting me to read. So if you do have any questions or comments or anything, do at Modern Metaphysica. It'll help, or put it in all caps. I catch that really well as too. So yeah, no worries, Patrick. As always, guys, I have posted in the Thoth Study Hall channel in Discord. There is a preliminary schedule already kind of outlined on which days we will be doing we will be meeting, and then also kind of what we'll be covering on those days. So if you're interested in that, we'll cover all this in the study hall meet and greet today. So, all right. I think that's it for housekeeping. As always, guys, too, down below you'll find links to all my social media. Go follow me on all the different stuff. And a link to my personal website where you can book a tarot reading from yours truly. For those of you that are interested in that, there is all of that down below. And down there, you'll also find links to all of the things I'm sharing today. So if you have an interest in ordering or picking up any of the things I share with you guys today, you'll find it down in the doobly-doo, down there. All right, let's dive in because I have quite the list today. I've already lost my notes. I don't know how I did that. Pull that up again. Okay, there it is. All right, so we're gonna start with books per our modus operandi, as some might say. There we go. All right, so first up on the book list. Oh, you guys, I'm really excited for this one. So this is Cunning Folk, Life in an Era of Practical Magic by Tabitha Stanmore. This popped up on my suggested for you sort of list on Amazon a bit ago. And then I also saw, I think there was a bookstore that posted about it that I follow on social media. But this looks really interesting. So it's more of a historical perspective. It's not quite like a how-to, but basically it's a vibrant look at the unsettled and strangely familiar time that overturned our assumptions about the history of magic. So basically it's looking at sort of late medieval into the early sort of modern period in regards to people who were known as cunning folk, men and women, who did like service magic, right? So these weren't like witches, they weren't wizards or sorcerers or anything like that. These were people that you would go to when you were feeling unwell. If you lost something, like finding lost objects was quite a common practice. Relationship issues, just very like practical magic workings and things like that. So in this, the Tabitha, who's a historian, basically has researched and found accounts in the period of these different sorts of workings. Everything from I love the little like the little blurb here, which is lovelorn widows, dissolute nobles, selfless healers, and renegade monks. We listen into Queen Elizabeth I's astrology readings and track treasure hunters trying to unearth buried gold without upsetting the fairies that guard it, right? I think that's like it's such a good colorful painting of kind of like what will be inside this book. I'm very interested in this. Cunning magic and that kind of stuff has been something that's been on my radar for a long while. I still remember way back when I first read and watched Lark Rise to Candleford. I don't know if anyone's watched that, but in that it's a show that's based on a book that's based on a journal, basically. And in that there's a lot of references to sort of like very practical magic things, like leaving a coin under your pillow to attract certain things, or brewing beer under the full moon to garner good luck and things like that. And it is interesting, right, how there was a very fine line of belief that these sorts of things were okay, but then typically if you had someone doing these things who were also maybe a social outcast, or a little not neurotypical, or a little awkward, or what have you, right? That's quickly became a slippery slope into witchcraft, right? So some interesting stuff here. I'm very excited for this one. It looks really, really cool. But definitely check this one out. This is by Bloomsbury, by the way, who do produce a lot of really interesting historical perspectives on the occult. They don't really do a lot of how-to stuff. But yeah, hardcover book, as well as a soft cover and an ebook will be available in this. So yeah, good morning. Now we want some full moon beer. Don't we all? Don't we all want some full moon beer? All right. So next up we have this little delight. Um, this was brought to my attention by Dennis over at Foolish Fish, who is wonderful. He does a like a weekly rundown of all things occult books. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, go check him out. He's really cool. But this is the Heptarchia Mystica of John Dee. That's really hard to say when you haven't had a lot of caffeine in the morning. But this is an interesting little book on John Dee's system of planetary magic that was given or delivered or handed, I don't, whatever word you want to use, given to him by through basically crystal scrying by Edward Kelly. And it basically details all the angels that rule the planets and the days of the week. It describes their functions and how to invoke them. And what's interesting is that this little text was not something that was widely referenced by the Golden Dawn or even Aleister Crowley. And it kind of went unnoticed until the late until like the 80s, in fact. So yeah, it looks really interesting. This is a new translation, of course, and I'm really interested in checking this one out. Planetary magic is something that is a part of my practice, and I love John Dee. We all know I love John Dee. So yeah, this one looks really cool. Looks really, really interesting. Hardcover and paperback, of course. I think the covers are the same. This is slated to come out in July. So yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff there. All right. Next up, we have a new title from Troy Books. We all know I love Troy Books. I adore them. They are probably my favorite occult book publishers. And we have the little key of Rabbi Solomon. This is interesting because they've published this once before, and it was quite popular. It appeared in their edition of the Lemegeton Clavicula Solmonis, or the Little Key of Solomon. But in it, basically, there was this facsimile. It's a hectographic facsimile, which I don't. I'm unfamiliar with the term hectographic, so I'm gonna have to look that up. I think it just means photocopy. I'm not sure, but it's a facsimile of the original publication. Basically, this is like a little notebook, journal, grimoire of Robert T. Cross, right? So it's kind of a combination of the Ars Goetia and the Ars the Almadel, in addition to some extra goodies. So there's specific operations for theft and for love is what they highlight in the little boilerplate here, which I think is really interesting. And the cool thing is that there is this sort of facsimile version of it, so you get it in his own handwriting with all of his little doodles and scribbles and notations. But there's also a manuscript, so a written typed manuscript for ease of use and readability, which is really cool. So beautiful cover as always. As far as I know, I don't know if they're going to do usually they say on here that they're going to do a soft cover, but I don't think they're going to do one. I don't know. I'm not sure. So, but it looks really interesting. I definitely am going to be picking this one up. So check this one out if you have not done so. Scarlet Imprint, next up, is doing something interesting. So I think this is ARRITON. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. This is more of like an artistic occult thing. So I'm just going to read the boilerplate because I think it does a better job than I could ever do of summarizing what this is. So ARRITON is an enigmatic work from the artist Ias Lertas. I am probably terribly mispronouncing that name, and I apologize if I am. To open ARRITON is to encounter the remnants of a lost esoteric tradition, leaves from an untranslated manuscript, a chance find amongst the disordered bookstalls of a remote ancient city. The seeker is thence immersed into a world redolent of Gnostic gems, magical alphabets, depictions and spells of the magical papyri, which unfolds following a logic all of its own and yet remains entirely alien. So this is, I'm not sure what um, the pedigree of this is, right? But it looks really interesting. And so I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one. Um, yeah, this one just looks really intriguing to me. So it seems to be using different systems of magic and esoteric traditions. They specifically call out the magical papyri, which I don't know if that's the Greek magical papyri. Um, I want to know more about this before I buy it. This is like what they have given information of, and there's a lot of people talking about this that are kind of making assumptions, but I like if anybody knows more about this, I'd be very intrigued. It looks very interesting. Um, the fact that it's coming from an artist tells me that this is going to be more experiential than anything like that, and I think that's the way it's being designed and marketed, is like a very like almost initiatory experience, which I think is interesting. But I want to know more. Obviously, there's references to Gnosticism in here as well, right? I think they specifically call out where was it? I read something about, yeah, redolent of Gnostic gems, right? So it's going to be interesting. I know nothing, but I am expecting this to be, as you say, an experience. Yeah, and that's the thing that intrigues. Scarlet Imprint is always like their books and the things that they choose to publish and things like that have always been really top notch, very very sort of game changing in terms of how people view and read books, and even like with something as simple as like the Game of Saturn, which is their text, one of their like cornerstones in my opinion that really made them popular when they produced that is kind of a cornerstone text now on the on like tarot history, right? Like when you make a list of books to read about tarot history, that's one of them. So I'm really interested in the Borgian artifact, right? So there's a lot of really cool stuff here that I'm very intrigued by. So, and the artwork that they're showing here is very interesting. I want to know more. I'm very I'm very intrigued. Give me more Scarlet Imprint. That's what I want to know. Okay. So there's that one. Next up we have Ancestral Slavic Magic. This is by Natasha Helvin, who has written other texts. They wrote Slavic Witchcraft. For those of you who have been around the channel for a little while, know that part of my heritage is Slavic. And so for me, it's actually a quarter of my heritage, but it is actually where my last name originates from. It's a Slavic name. It's my paternal side of my family. The maternal side of my family is actually German, and then I have a quarter Native American. So I have all the Germanic stuff, uh, whether it's Northern European, so or into Germany itself. I have all that, and then Slavic and Native American. And so my grandfather on my mother's side was actually full-blooded Native American. So anytime Slavic stuff comes up, I have to grab it because it's something that's very interesting to me, because the sort of background of my family in that vein is very lost. because of sort of all of the things that have happened in that specific area of the world, whether it's, um, the countless wars and atrocities at this point, but a lot of the records of my kind of family lineage and things like that have fallen to the wayside. So anytime I can kind of connect with that in a meaningful way, I try to do that. And so Ancestral Slavic Magic was right up that alley, right? And Slavic Witchcraft was really good. I have that book. It's wonderful. So I'm really excited to see this kind of like follow up to that book. And yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Raised in the Soviet Union, where she grew up steeped in ancient Slavic magical traditions, hereditary witch Natasha Helvin not only reveals how you are continually and powerfully influenced by your ancestors, but also offers traditional rituals and spells to help you connect with them. So yeah, this one looks really, really interesting to me, um, for a lot of different reasons, but a lot of personal reasons. So I'm very, very excited about this one. Lots of good stuff in here, by the way. Does it? Oh, it does have a little back table of contents. Let's see here. Oh, they cover pagan Christianity roots. Interesting. Very, very cool stuff. Oh, I don't think this is. I don't know if that table of contents is correct. Tarot history. You guys are funny. Okay, so there's that one. Ancestral Slavic Magic. Go check it out. I will be. And then last but certainly not least, I'm really excited for this one, you guys. Tarot Unveiled, an occultist perspective on the cards. So this is a new book being published by Crossed Crow Books, who are wonderful people. And this is Gordon Strong, uh, who wrote this book, who has uh, he's a great writer. And this basically is an 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 occultist, a spiritualist perspective on tarot, which I want more of. Right? There's a lot of psycho spiritual approaches to tarot, and in fact, a lot of the 101 books coming out right now are all more like psychological and introspection, which is fine. The tarot is a wonderful tool for those things, but I also am a firm believer and practitioner of divination and using the tarot cards to predict the future and things like that, and connecting them with ritual magic and other sort of occult practices. And so this one looks really, really interesting to me. Focusing on intuition as key, you will be taken through the cards in groups, observing relationships between them and how these relationships relate to the querent. Packed with information and unique ideas, Tarot Unveiled is an excellent book to take along Tarot's twisting path. So I'm very interested to see kind of what this is and what it brings to the table. It seems like not I will say this. It seems like not a 101 book presented as a 101 book, if that makes sense. Does anyone get what I'm saying here? Like, it seems like it's going to go through the cards like a 101 book does, but it's going to go through it kind of at a more at a deeper level. Me too. Me too, Patrick. Tarot snobs unite. Maybe if I ever do create like a Facebook group, if that's a thing, which it probably won't be because I don't have time to moderate that stuff. And people on Facebook are crazy. Like they oh my goodness. I've seen some stuff on Facebook that I'm just like, what? What? Why? Why? um but if I ever were to make a Facebook group, I would call it Tarot Snobs. All right. So that's it as far as books go. Um, this is always kind of an interesting lull in the like book um tarot new space is these couple months here. Um, let's see here. Who's on Facebook anymore, Grandpa? Hey, listen. I remember I was on Facebook when you used to have a college email address in order to register for Facebook. And it was only available to like colleges and college students. That's how long I've been on Facebook. I don't know if I should be proud to admit that or not. I also remember when Google came out. Yeah. Yeah. I'm old. Yeah, Boomer Metaphysicae, that's me. Yep. But yeah, that is how I still remember when Facebook came out, and I was an avid user of MySpace and other platforms. But yeah. Oh my goodness. So funny. I think I got off Facebook as soon as my mom got on it. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. I will say that the platform I probably use the most these days is of course YouTube. Um, I spend very little time on Instagram, um, and very little time on Facebook. And I use Discord a lot. In fact, I use Discord. Discord almost for me has become like the old like message boards, right? Because you could go into communities and like have discussions about specific topics and things like that. That's what I really like about Discord. I think is that it reminds me of like old like message boards from the 90s. I don't know if I want to admit that to myself or not. Um, but yeah, that's probably the case. All right, let's talk about some upcoming tarot decks because um that is what's next up on the list. And of course, my list here got, give me 1 second, you guys, because um sometimes when you try to open multiple Kickstarters, it thinks you're like a robot, and then Kickstarter's like, no, you're opening too many pages at once. And I'm like, what you talking about? All right, let's kick this off. So for upcoming and new releases, I have a slew of Kickstarters for you guys. Oh, the microphone's in the camera now. These are all like, there is not a whole lot coming out mass market that I'm remotely interested in. There's a couple of things that I'm like, oh, that looks cool, that looks interesting, but by and large, nothing really striking my fancy. However, there are a handful of Kickstarters that I want to highlight and share with you guys today because they look really cool. All right. So, first up is the Mystery Travelers Tarot. This is by R. Thomas Allwyn, who has done another project. They did. I can't remember what it was called now. It's called the Illuminated Traveler's Oracle, which I do have and is very lovely. But this is their new deck and it looks amazing. I love Thomas's illustration style. It's one of my favorites. It has that kind of very vintage, like book feel, like book illustration feel, which I really love. There's a lot of nods to tarot history as well as like occult symbolism and things like that, right? Like you have the Omphalos Orphic egg thing going on here, and yeah, lots of really cool symbolism as well as references to kind of tarot history and things like that. So I'm very excited for this one. As you can see, the suits are a little different. So you have keys, bells, bones, and what are we missing? I can't remember now. Is that it? Oh, non-traditional shoots. Yeah. So 77 card non-traditional deck. keys, bells, and bones. And then you have the majors, which look beautiful. So not a traditional tarot deck, by the way. The names are a little different, just to be clear. And it looks really, really cool. I love all the extra cards too, by the way. The fiddler, which is really interesting. The curtain, which I thought was really cool addition. The endless, which is kind of like the universe. The weird, which I love. And the three monkeys, right? Not my circus, not my monkeys. So a very unique kind of take on the tarot. I'm very, very interested in this one. I love the art style. I do enjoy these kind of like departures from standard tarot. I don't know if this is going to be something that I typically will like read with on a regular basis, but I think it's a very interesting deck, to say the very least, right? Yeah, three non-traditional suits. So bones, bells, and keys, which each have 15 cards. So non-traditional. Yeah. Very interesting. All right. So there is the Mystery Traveler's Tarot. Check that one out. It looks really, really cool. 26 days to go. A long while. Um, yeah, very interested in this one. Okay, next up, I'm very excited about this one. In fact, Lexi pointed this one out to me. This is the Gothic Literature Tarot. This looks so cool. So the entire deck is based on Gothic literature. Of course, here we have the Fool, which represents Jonathan Harker, who is from Bram Stoker's Dracula. So if you're a Gothic lit fan, you're going to love this deck. This is going to give Bohemian Gothic a run for its money. The artwork looks amazing. I did see someone reference this as like AI art. It is not AI art, just to be 100% clear. In fact, the artist shows some of their stuff down below and explicitly says that it's not. The gilding on this looks amazing. I love the backs. Book, which is really cool. Love this deck though. It looks so, look at this Ace of Skulls. Oh, looks so good. Here's some information about the artist, all that kind of fun stuff. So it looks really, really, really interesting to me. Gothically, the Twilight. I don't know if it's not quite Twilight. I don't think it's Twilight. I wouldn't describe Twilight as Gothic literature. Um, but yeah, this looks really beautiful. I'm really excited for this one. The suits look really well done. Yeah, this looks cool. The majors look really well done. And I like the characters that they've picked for the majors. So that's good. Like the Wheel of Fortune's Dorian Gray. Hello? Portrait of Dorian Gray fans, anyone? Anyone raise your hand in chat if you are a Portrait of Dorian Gray fan. Like, oh my goodness. Very excited. And of course, Dr. Faustus is as the magician. Like, what? So good. So good. Really, really good. Um, really, really good choices in my opinion. Temperance is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So good. It's so good. Like perfect, right? So good. All right. Of course, the sun is Jane Eyre, which I thought was clever. Very clever. All right. Anyways, let's move on. I will gush about this in my own time. Go check this one out if you haven't done so already. This is by a veteran creator, and they've had really good response and really good track record of projects. So, the Gothic Literature Tarot, go check it out. All right, next up we have a new edition of the Venus Morningstar Tarot. This one I'm excited for because the first edition, the first kind of version of this deck was very pink, which is not my thing. I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys have watched my channel for some time, but pink is not my thing. So, um, yeah, I'm very excited for this one because the first version of I wanted the first version because I love extend art decks, and I liked the concept of this deck, but it was too pink for me. This one, however, is really cool. So lots of really cool found art. Uh, great selection. Here's a. In fact, I think this is the strength card or sorry, this is the piece of art that I referenced in my deep dive of strength. I wonder if I influenced them in any way, shape, or form. If you're watching my channel, let me know. Because this is a very obscure painting that I don't think a lot of people have ever known about. But anyways, um, yeah, really great choices in terms of artworks for the cards. So I'm very excited to see this one come to life. Um, I think they did a wonderful job of selecting things. Some beautiful work. I love the Knight of Swords. Oh, this is one of my favorite paintings, which is a painting of Lucifer. Really cool deck. Bacchus is the king of coins. I don't know about that one. I guess that does work for me. Yeah, the backs are lovely. Um, yeah, really cool stuff. This is right up my alley, right? Um, oh, you have the old version, Lexi, and yes, very pink. That's so funny. So I will definitely be picking this one up. I have picked this one up. Excuse me as I scroll really fast. All right. Next up, I have a quick. This is going to be a quick mention because it only Kickstarter only has 3 hours to go. So this is basically for my live stream viewers. You guys are the best. If you're watching this live, 3 hours to go on this. This is the second edition of Trzes Mamluk Deck. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what the Mamluk Deck is, it's considered to be kind of the one of the cornerstone foundational sort of proto tarots. Of course, tarot as it is today, the history of that is that you had kind of these playing card games that came over from the East in and through the Middle East through trades and wars and things like that. Um, and when they made their way into the Middle East, the Mamluk deck is one of the extant sort of let me refresh here because all the pictures aren't loading. It's one of the extant sort of historical decks that we have that is kind of considered proto tarot. And in fact, when you look at it, you can see how the Marseille tradition, right, and the Italian tradition pulled a lot of sort of design elements, especially in the minors, from this deck. So it's a very sort of cornerstone tarot history piece. And the I do have the first edition of this deck. I thought about digging it out, but I just never ended up doing it. It's a beautiful deck. I will say that if you are watching this on replay, the last time that this was made available, there was copies of it available after through the creator. So if you don't get a chance to snag this, hopefully you'll be able to snag one after the thing. But if you're watching it live now, or if you're watching it in the next 3 hours after this video goes live, and you want to grab this, sorry, 2 hours now. It's got 2 hours to go, guys. Go ahead and check that out. I'm definitely not trying to like poke anyone's FOMO, but this is a cool one. I love this. I will say, like, this is not a deck, like, and this is what I talk about, right? Like, when it comes to like collection curation and stuff, right? Is that this is not a deck I read with ever. I don't ever read with this deck. I have this deck in my collection specifically, one, because it's a beautiful object. So it fills that criteria of my collection, and two, because it is a piece of tarot history. So for my own sort of edification and knowledge and exploration of tarot history, that is why it is a part of my collection. The three cornerstones of my collection are, it has to be it has to either, it can be one or all of the above: a beautiful object, something that teaches me something, or something that I use in my practice of reading for myself or for others, right? Those are the three criteria. It can fill one of them, or it can fill all three of them simultaneously. If it doesn't fill any of those three things, then it does not come into my collection. That's kind of how I curate my own. So anyways, the Mamluk Deck, second edition, go grab it if you haven't. I know a lot of people have been wanting this one for a while. I see it pop up all the time in Facebook groups. It's available again. Go grab it before it's over. All right. And next up, we have the Valmor Roaring 20s Oracle. This has a little bit of about a week to go. This one caught my attention just because of the art style and its uniqueness, right? So this is a historical deck that was produced for a while, illustrated by Charles Clarence Dawson, one of America's leading Black artists and designers. The cards were commissioned by Valmor Products and published through their subsidiary, which for like their novelty, right? Um, they look fun and they look cool and they look interesting and different. But I think this too, like when it comes to tarot history, these kinds of decks, right? Um, these are things that were produced as novelties that kind of built a foundation that led us to where we are today with cartomancy and tarot as a whole, right? So I love having these things as a part of my collection. As you can see, it has some Lenormand um, vibes going on. I don't think I would consider this a Lenormand deck 100%. It's not quite there, but this looks really interesting. The box design's great. I love the very Art Deco-y paper on the inside. But this one looks really cool, so I'm excited to grab these because I love these kinds of things. Like the Astro Oracle is another one that's like this, and love it, love it. So check this one out if you haven't done so already. The Valmor Roaring 20s, a faithful replica of the famous, quote, old gypsy cards made by Valmor of Chicago in the 1920s, part of a vibrant American folk tradition. All right. So there is that one. And last but certainly not least, I wanted to highlight for you all Tarot for Light Seers. This is a book, but I included it in the tarot section because it's just an extended guidebook to the Light Seers Tarot by Kristen Donnelly. A journey through the symbols, messages, and secrets of the cards. I'm very interested to see this come to life. Taking a deep dive into symbolism woven through the illustrations of each card and pointing out the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith imagery that inspired the contemporary artwork. This book will feature a breakdown of the symbolism of each card and share the traditional card art for comparison. So, a more in-depth guidebook on the Light Seers Tarot, which is really quickly become one of, I think, the most popular tarot decks in the last 5-10 years. I would definitely say it's up there. So I'll be checking that one out just because I have the deck. I think it's beautiful. I have the Kickstarter. It's a lovely deck. Yeah. Excited to see. I actually, like he says, does it really need a guidebook though? I really like when creators write their own guidebooks and talk about like this is the artwork I created, and this is the reason why I chose this composition, and these are the symbols that I put into the painting, and this is why I chose to put those symbols into the painting. And from the sounds of what is in sort of the little blurb here, I think it definitely is going to follow that sort of formula. And to me, that's really interesting. Even if it is just very like mundane, like, oh, I put the symbol in here because it was on the Rider Waite version of the card. Like, it to me, it's interesting, right? And I wish all guidebooks were like that. Like, in fact, I will say this vehemently until the day I die as a tarot reader. If you give me a tarot book or a guidebook that isn't closely written with the creator of the deck or by the creator of the deck, I will more than likely never read it. I There are guidebooks that we get in with decks these days that you can just you crack them open and you can tell that it's like this was written by someone who had maybe an outline or a few examples of the cards but didn't actually have any sort of working relationship with the artist who created the deck, and I despise that. It drives me nuts. It's one of my pet peeves. And if you're a creator and that's what you did for your deck, good for you, but not for me. um yeah, I really love when creators do these kind of really in-depth takes on their decks. Yes, yeah, Simon, I agree. It's definitely up there with the Wild Unknown. I agree. Um Everything should have a guidebook. Yes. Yeah, I think for me, like, I mean, to an extent, right? But yeah. So funny. Alrighty, friends. So that's it for all the things I had to share with you guys today. Those are all the fun books and decks that are coming out that have really caught my attention. Um, Next Sunday we will do a recent roundup. I have a stack of really cool things to share with you guys. I'm really excited for. Um, yeah, she does. Del, that's a good point. Yeah, she does offer a sort of field notes guide that you can have printed on Lulu. Um, but yeah, those are all the things. As always, you guys, if you have books or decks that you are excited about, feel free to throw them in chat or come back and leave a comment. I love hearing your guys' suggestions. We have channels in Discord that are for those. So if you're in Scholar Metaphysica, feel free to drop them in there. We're always chatting about all the new and upcoming things, and everybody voices their opinions and their knee-jerk reactions. It's super fun. We have a good time. So be sure to check that out. Also, if you are watching still, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying it, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. It does really help our community to grow. The YouTube algorithm goblins love thumbs ups, and they love subscribers and comments and all that kind of stuff. So it would really help me out if you did that. Does anybody have any questions for me or anything that they want to share that they're particularly excited for? We're doing good on time. We're right in an hour. I always feel like it's so funny because when I put these lists together, I'm always like, oh my God, like it feels so short, like 5 or 6 books and decks each. Like that's not very many. There's no way I'm going to be able to talk for an hour about these things. And when I'm doing these, I always feel like I'm rushing through things, like gotta get to the next one, gotta get to the next one, gotta like keep it going to like make sure I'm not like this doesn't turn into like a 4 hour video. Um, and it always amazes me when I look at the clock and I'm like, ah, I did it. We got right an hour. Um, really, Elwin, you've never picked up? I will say, I really love the Wild Unknown. It's definitely worth picking up. It's one of those decks, in my opinion, that if you're going to be a tarot reader, it's right up there with. I would argue very firmly that it's up there with like the Rider Waite Smith and the Thoth in its sort of influence on tarot history. Tarot Nut, yes, yeah. The collector's edition of Terra Volatile. I don't know. Is it still available for pre-order? We did talk about that a while back when it first opened, but I'm really excited for it. Um, the Far Out Tarot from Gabby. Oh, this popped up. I think it popped up in Discord. Um, I'm pretty sure this popped up in Discord. Yes, it did. The artwork on this, I like it, but someone in Discord said, I can't remember who it is now, but someone said it made them feel claustrophobic, and I agree. And that's kind of why I chose not to include this. There's just something about this deck that makes me feel uncomfortable. That's not even the right word. It's just it's weird. And like the proportions, I don't know, like I'm a proportions person, and there's it's lovely. The artwork is lovely. And there's some really cool things going on in the cards. Like I love this 10 of swords, right? Um but at the same time, like the kind of like fish eye thing, I don't know, there's something about it that's kind of like And so when I was looking at this and I was like, is this going to fulfill my like criteria? Is this something I'm going to work with? Probably not. Is it an object of beauty? Yeah, it is, but is it enough of an object of beauty to warrant taking up space in my space? Probably not, right? Is it going to teach me something? It's pretty RWS, so probably not. Um So in the end, I passed on this one. It is lovely though. Like this Ace of Cups is cool. It has like almost an uncanny valley. I think that's a better way to explain it, right? There's like an uncanny valleyness to it where I'm just kind of like, yeah. Is that the Bonefire Tarot artist? I'm not sure. Bonefire Tarot is not a deck I own. So I never got behind that one. It is? Okay. There you go. It is the Bonefire Tarot deck artist. Yeah, not my thing, but that's okay. Confirmed Bonefire Tarot artist. Anything else anyone's super excited for? As my voice goes, my sinuses right now. You can tell like my allergy pills are starting to wear off now, and I need to take another one after I get done with this. Um, yeah, I her art style is very interesting, and it is always fascinating to me how color plays a part in that, right? And I think that's what's so interesting about art in general is that the colors that artists choose, right, are very telling, right? I think a lot of us like make assumptions about color, um, but they're very like cognizant choices by an artist when creating any kind of artwork, whether it's a tarot deck or a painting. Alrighty, just checking out chat here. Um, do I have any suggestions for astrology books for beginners? Yes, I do. In fact, The Stars Within You is probably the best beginner astrology book you will find. It's a quick read. It's not much bigger than this book. It's actually smaller than this book, both in its height and its width. Um, it's a really great foundational book on astrology that takes you basically through the basic concepts of astrology, the different meanings of all the different zodiac signs, all of the different planetary bodies, and how to read a chart, an astrology chart, specifically your natal chart. It references your own birth chart. and just kind of really outlines all the basics for you, that is where I would start. You're welcome. You're most certainly welcome. But yeah, The Stars Within You, by, oh, why can't I remember? The Stars Within You. Juliana McCarthy and Alejandro Cardenas. And it's very affordable. It's on sale right now um on Amazon for $11.99. Plain backed. Any other questions, comments, things you're excited about? Things you're dreading? I'm dreading the summer heat. Do you think so? I feel like this is done before. Do you think someone would make a Braille tarot? So if I feel like this has been done before, and I feel like someone's talked about this on some level. Um, with regard, I've also seen photos of people who have put Braille on their cards. Um, there was someone talking about how they had three clients who had difficulty seeing, and so they would come for readings, and part of a reading really is kind of seeing the cards yourself, right? Like when you're receiving it. And because she had clients who had difficulty with sight or did not have sight, she had Braille put on her cards, which I don't know where you would go to have that done, but she basically grabbed an extra copy of the RWS and went and had Braille put on the cards. Now, obviously, like you, like I don't read Braille, so like having that show through on the back, right? The upside of the bumps were on the front, would not phase me. But when she did readings for those people, she used the Braille deck so that they could feel um, they could feel the cards, which I thought was really cool. I thought it was really cool. Um, I was like, oh, that's something to think about. Oh, there's some on Google. Interesting. All right. It'll be a cool 95 degrees in air. So what is it supposed to be today? Let's look. Let's look at the phone. Weather. It's only 71 today. Yesterday it was 89 though. It was toasty yesterday. I am not ready for the summer heat wave. Hmm. I am the type of person where I would much rather be cold and have to warm up than be hot and have to cool down. That's the type of person I am. 56. That's in Celsius though, right? What is that? Does anyone know what that is in the Fahrenheits, the freedom units? I think that's in Celsius because that's the UK. No, no, that's, oh wow, that's quite chilly. That is quite chilly. So it's 71 is, what is it in, does it tell me what it is in Celsius? No, it doesn't. I don't know what that is in Celsius. 65 in Portland. Ooh, that's perfect. 65 is perfect. I'm jealous. I only speak Celsius, damn. Oh my goodness. That's so 56 is 135 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's a little toasty. Oh, arm. I feel like it probably gets that hot though, like in the Sahara, right? Like, what? What? is the highest? 134.1 was the highest temperature ever recorded. It was recorded on the 10th of July in 1913. And it was actually recorded in California in the United States of America. Fun fact for today. So you can live through that. That's funny. That's way too hot. Absolutely not. A balmy 88 in Virginia. But I like to pretend the entire outside is a spa. It's fine. That's some positive mental attitude right there. That's it. That's the way to do it. Summer is kind of a boring season. I will say that. That's so funny. All right, friends. If there are no other questions or suggestions, we're gonna get this wrapped up. If you are hanging out with me this afternoon for Thoth Study Hall, I'm really excited for that. So be sure to pop on by. If you guys have any questions, or if you are a member and not in the Discord server and you would like to participate in Thoth Study Hall, check the community tab on my YouTube channel. So if you go to just the YouTube channel and then you click on community, I have made a post that gives you instructions on how to join the Discord server. If you're still having troubles, or if you're just can't figure it out, or whatever, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. You can shoot me an email. You can DM me on Instagram or Facebook. Lots of easy ways to get a hold of me. modernmetaphysica@gmail.com. That's my email. And I will do my best to make sure that you get in and can participate in all that fun stuff. As always, you guys, thank you all so much for hanging out. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I hope all of you guys have an amazing Sunday afternoon if you're not hanging out with me this afternoon in study hall. And as always, you guys, remember, everybody is fighting a battle that you know nothing about. So be kind to each other, okay?